Welcome to World News. Tonight, the fight to save cities and towns has moved to the Mississippi River, while evidence is mounting that climate change is causing this kind of disaster. Stern action. 2 former Bear Stearns executives are arrested for bilking investors, losing $1.5 billion, all part of the mortgage mess. Vitamin Plus. New research shows vitamin D may help fight colon cancer and a range of other diseases. But is it too good to be true? And lower mileage. American drivers are paying more for gas, to be sure, but now driving less as well. 4 billion miles less than a year ago.
From ABC News headquarters, this is World News with Charles Gibson.
Good evening. Mark Twain once wrote about the Mississippi River. You cannot tame that lawless stream, cannot curb it or confine it, cannot say to it go here or go there and make it obey. He wrote those words in 1893, and they certainly apply today. The Midwest flooding has moved to the Mississippi River, but a White House report issued today said it's not the river and the rains alone that have caused these floods. It's global warming presenting the most serious challenges to society in coping with the changing climate. ABC's Barbara Pinto is in Burlington, Iowa.
The floods are historic and heartbreaking.
Sardine house, so it's gone.
And today, the administration report draws a clear link between this destructive and severe weather and the fossil fuels we burn to light our homes and power our cars.
As greenhouse gases increase, the faster they increase, the more extreme weather and climate events we'll be seeing.
From droughts to heat waves to floods like these. As the air warms, it can hold more moisture, dumping more rain.
It no longer is something that just affects polar bears, just affects poor people in third world countries. It's becoming clear it is a danger to every single American. It could hit their home. It could hit their neighborhood.
Here in Burlington, Iowa, the rain-swollen Mississippi has swallowed part of downtown, the second record-breaking flood here in 15 years.
And the second time Dennis Standard's riverfront restaurant was ruined.
It's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to be every 500 years. I thought I'd be gone by now. But it's just changing.
Scientists who take a longer view say he's right. The report says intense precipitation in the U.S. has increased by 20% over the past century, and it forecasts extreme heavy rains that occur every 20 years will happen every 6 years instead. That is daunting news to Burlington City Manager.
It's not a 500-year event. It's more frequent than that, and we need to be thinking about how are we going to address it if it happens again in 10 years or 15 years.
As extreme weather disasters, long considered acts of God, or at least in part acts of man. Barbara Pinto, ABC News, Burlington, Iowa.
Well, global warming may be a big part of the cause of the flooding, but those living in Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and other states along the floodplain don't have much time to think about global warming. They're too busy filling sandbags, and regrettably, in so many instances, sandbags aren't enough. Nearly a dozen levees have overflowed in the last day, half a dozen breached outright. And Ryan Owens is in the town of Louisiana, Missouri tonight. Ryan?
Good evening, Charlie. This is what your town looks like if you don't have a levee at all. In this town, literally, it's up to each individual homeowner. And look, they are getting the job done. This is an enormous homemade wall of sandbags, and it's working. On the other side,